Joe, this morning in your session, you were talking about demystifying digital twins. What do you mean?
I think this term digital twin is being used for maybe the past 5-10 years, but actually there's been digital twins for the past 30-40 years, maybe even longer. In fact, I think NASA is being credited as being some of the first digital twins that were out there around the Apollo missions, making sure we had exactly the knowledge of what was going on during that moon mission. And it was those little steps and that collaboration and coordination across so many of those departments to really understand what's going on as they were trying to land a capsule on the moon, a man on the moon. So now you have the same thing going on in the utility industry. You have so many different departments that are building different data sets and making different designs. They're responsible for their own different silos of data, and they're not always talking, they're not always aligning, they're not always collaborating. And really when we talk about a digital twin, we're talking about bringing all those types of layers and all that information together. And it's not only the static layers of aerial photography or CAD information, GIS data, maybe some LiDAR information or some photogrammetry, but it's all the real-time data now that we're starting to bring in that really brings that twin to life. So we're able to see in real time what is going on in the real world. We're having that new ability to monitor the infrastructure almost on an instantaneous basis if we need to have that, which is great. So the digital twin, I think, has really, it's been there. It's a term that's been a little overused over time, but now we're truly starting to see utilities bringing together and collaborating across all of these different departments, and the alignment is probably stronger than we've ever seen.
Now, one of the points you made as well, which I found fascinating, was that so people hear that and like, oh yeah, we need it, but they were like, oh, where do I start? And you brought it out about the onboarding and making it much easier.
That's right. Yeah, most utilities, they've already got departments who are keeping CAD, GIS information, they're going out, they have SCADA data maybe, they're starting to integrate some real-time sensors, and they're bringing this together little by little. But the point I was trying to make in this morning's session is all really around knowledge transfer. I think for the last 20 years, we've been hearing about this aging workforce. The term I heard was silver tsunami. And one in which you've got the ability to now train a new generation of workforce. And the knowledge capture of the generation that's leaving, it's imperative and it's crucial to be able to capture that information about all the processes, the workflows, and the reasons why we are designing the things we are. This latest generation of colleagues and of workforce that are coming in, they don't always understand the reasons why they're building the things they are. So by capturing the knowledge and the process and the dependencies that are downstream, I think this is a really important point to make, is you can't just draw a point, a circle, an arc on a map and expect that to be your mapping system or your GIS. There are reasons that you have to have the right equipment, the right compatible units, the types of attribute information, the connections to databases, the right topologies that you're building, so that when a truck rolls way out in the middle of the outback, it has the right equipment on it, it has the right type of tools, it knows exactly why it's going. You need to make it as efficient as you can so that the very first time that you go out there, you have that information, you know what needs to be done the first time. That knowledge transfer is crucial right now at this time in our lives.
True, and the point you also made, if I may, was that with your iTwin experience, iTwin capture, it's not that I have to learn a massive new software stack and how it works. It's through a browser. It's drag and drop, right? As a way of breaking down the barriers to entry.
That's right. Now, obviously, we have the biggest processing on the desktop. We have, a lot of training that is available, and tips and tricks and workflows to make sure that you're ramping up to speed on our desktop versions of applications. But more and more, you're seeing a lot of the processing and a lot of the accessibility of these layers that we're talking about in the digital twin available in a browser. So you're now having the very familiar type of environment to be able to open up Chrome and be able to see your iTwin experience, be able to access all of that information in one environment and be able to do searching or some simple of analysis, or the ability to have the layers come apparent to you that you may have not had access to before. And that's really important because now you know you have different departments who are all feeding and contributing into this digital twin, and they know that it's going to be exposed to their workers and to the entire organization through this type of browser.
Yep.
So they understand the importance of having accurate data, very good quality, making sure the connectivity is as strong as it can be, and surfacing that information so people can truly make some informed decisions about it.
Now, you also had some great examples of, why are people doing this in this industry, in the utility industry?
So we have a customer, for example, in Australia, Essential Energy, and they have 350, 400 different substations out in very rural areas, both urban and rural, and they're very concerned about not only building new substations, but also the brownfield expansion of existing substations. So making sure that they have the right tolerances and clearances to be able to have equipment that's maintained and operated. They don't always know what they have. They've grown organically kind of over 40 years. They may have good records on substations, some substations, and not so good on others. So what they're doing is actually going out and flying drones around all their substations, making sure that they have very accurate foundation of the data to begin with. So they're using our context capture software, they're flying with drones, they're processing that through ProjectWise, and they're able to now share that and store it and use that as the foundation of their digital twin. They can now start to integrate a variety of different layers, CAD and GIS layers. They're able to do measurements, as I mentioned, check tolerances, making sure that they have the right equipment so that when they go out to maintain or operate on one of those substations, that they have a solid foundation of their digital twin to be able to use.
Hey, good stuff. Interesting times.
Yeah, it's great times. Yeah, it's very exciting to be in this industry at this time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. That's good.